Hey, what's up everybody? Frank Valkyria, welcome to the channel for another reaction today, lyrics reaction. Yeah, sometimes we go deep into artist writing because matters. Yesterday we did Como Nosso País, today I did Bongkar from Iwan Falls, another legendary sing-songwriter from Indonesia. So let's go dive deeper into another favorite, Ramalho. Yes, that dude. I love that dude. Admirável Gado Novo, brave new cattle. I actually took the liberty just to read for a second that this somehow was inspired also by the book Brave New World, Aldous Huxley, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so let's go together. This is also probably a 70s, doesn't say here when it was released. This is a site where you have better translations because they're done by people. So in case you have better version, let me know. So let's go together and find out the poetry, the meaning, the depth of this song. And also, if you want, please go check Thin Man and Sparrow on Spotify. It's a great way to support this page, my music, and yeah, share it. Let's go. All right, we got the beginning. You who are part of this mess, which is approved for future projects. It's tough having to walk so much, giving much more than receiving back, and having to display your courage on the margin of what that can look like. Seeing that all those gears are already being eaten by the rust. Okay, I already feel like there is a little bit of but you are part of this mess, which is approved for future projects. Gives me the sense though there is already pointing at people which they're complaining. It's like, hey, you people complaining, but you are actually part of this mess, and you're also letting this future happen because you approve of it. Whatever, I suppose. It's tough to having to walk so much, giving much more than receiving, and having to display your courage on the margins of what that can look like. This doesn't make much sense to me, but this gives me the feeling of like working class people having to show their effort and doing always more effort, and in the face of difficulties, not knowing what is going to happen, they still have to put that much effort into stuff and receiving very little back, uncertainty. So seeing that all those gears are already being eaten by the rust, this also gives me a sense of like, again, working class people investing in their business with stuff, like to try to create a better future, creating prosperity, and already those machines, those tools are being eaten by the rust, already undermining the possibility of creating your own prosperity. Freaking out, Zaramayo, that's heavy, okay? Heavy. But very, like, I get the image, if that's what it was trying to convey. Very powerful. Okay. Cattle life, branded people, happy people. Wow. This analogy of cattle life, like animals, branded people, referring to the cattle that get branded with the fire and you just follow the herd. Happy people. Again, this reinforces the idea of like perhaps government creating people that comply, people which they get branded, that they follow the masses, they follow the herd, they don't question, they don't get out of the mass, they don't speak out. Happy people, cattle people. Wow, that's pretty powerful in that way. And it's in this way I get the feeling is Zai, it's a little angry, like, hey, you freaking cattle people. The weather outside is cozy. Guards take care of normality. Cars listen to the news. Men publish them on the newspaper, and runs through the night the only old age that came. that they take their time at the roadside and start counting the leftovers. Oh my god, this translation. The weather outside is cozy. The weather outside, it's nice. We live in comfort. The guards, the police is taking care of normality, making sure that nothing gets out of hand, that we stay in that comfort zone of what we consider normal. Car listens to the news. There are people in the cars. They're going to work. That sense of 9 to 5 job, the modern world, the routine thing of being everybody on the road, just going to work, day in, day out. They're listening to the news. They're being fed what men publish on the newspaper because the news are printed by other men. So maybe he wants to somehow say something here regarding, you know, the news, the reality that the news are creating or distributing and sharing, very actual as today. They're in control of the perception, of creating the perception of the reality we live in through which kind of news gets aired and published, and which kind of truth gets published. So I think there is that kind of tension there. This part, and runs through the night, the only old age that came. They take their time at the roadside and start counting the leftover. This is totally abstract. I don't know what it is referring to, and it runs through the night. The only old age that came. They take their time at the roadside and start counting the leftover. This might refer to the fact of, like lack of opportunities, somehow tension with the old days. They take their time at the roadside, I don't know what for, and they start to counting the leftovers. Yeah, I don't know. Could mean so many things. Honestly, in this way translated, doesn't make much sense to me. Again, cattle people, branded people, happy people, to reinforce that idea. People run away from ignorance despite living so close to it, dreaming of the good old days, gazing at life from inside the cage, waiting for a new opportunity of seeing this world ending, the Noah's Ark, that Zeppelin, don't fly, neither float. Wow, that's nice. People run away from ignorance, I hope so, despite living so close to it. Maybe he's referring to the people which they actually want to create a new word, perhaps, like moving away from the past, moving away from the confinement and the stiffness of the old ways, dreaming of the good old days, gazing at life from inside the cage. This might refer to the fact that people, in the actual circumstances of that time, they were looking back when things were better, and they're doing this by living right now in a cage, trapped in the system of nowadays at the time, waiting for new opportunities or seeing this world ending. Waiting for a new opportunity of seeing this world ending, like waiting basically for this world to end, but somehow not partake into it, but just hoping that it will end, something new will come, as almost as if, a divine intervention, something from the outside comes and change the circumstances, and the Noah's Ark, the Zeppelin, don't fly, neither float. This to me gives me that sense like he's already sort of a little bit mocking the people having this type of, let's say, faith, their beliefs in fate, divine intervention, stating, the Noah's Ark, the Zeppelin, is not going to fly, neither going to float, not even of a foot, because it's not there, it doesn't exist, it's not going to come. So that's pretty powerful as well. And again, it reinforces that idea, don't fly, neither float. It doesn't fly, not float, not even this much. Wow, and he ends with cattle people, cattle life, branded people, happy people. Pretty powerful. Also a little bit pessimistic, a little bit, I would say. Uh, but probably you also have to contextualize this. I know that there was a period of in the 60s or 70s. You will correct me, of course, guys, and that's totally great. There was a period of dictatorship. There was a period of censorship, so that artists were trying still to write songs to share the truth, to share their take on what was happening. And perhaps this is also the reason why sometimes there are like it seems that there are verses which they're very hermetic, you know, like that you have to read into it, and perhaps with the right context, you will understand the jigsaw puzzle of trying to tell you the truth without being too clear, too direct, because perhaps you could have been persecuted. This is what happens, unfortunately, in dictatorship regimes where the truth is not seen very nicely and it's repressed, suppressed, and people have been killed. So I can understand the poetic license of trying to create vague, you know, imagery, something that when you manage to read through it with some context, you will find the truth, but it's not obvious. Henceforth, saves also the artist from being caged or something like that. Guys, let me know what I missed. Let me know what I skipped. We're gonna do more of this on the classics, on the great sing-song writers. You know that I love this and I love sharing it and going deep into the lyrics because that's what I do. That's what I get inspiration from. That's what I look up to. So let's suggest more. This was one a suggest of yours. Go subscribe. Ciao. Boo.